What we're going to try to do over the next 5 minutes is to show you how we've tried to take a step back and say, what are the key findings that we think are, that we want to communicate to everyone in this room and other sanitation sector players for you to take forward as you are thinking about the sanitation-related programs that you have, and also in our support that we do with government at the state level or at the national level. So one thing is that we know and we acknowledge that there are huge benefits that have been brought about by SBM. But now we have to focus on how do we reap those benefits and how do we sustain this amazing change that's been brought about. And that's at the center of the questions that we've been grappling with over the past couple of days and couple of weeks. So one, it's clearly evident that that latrine use uptake has increased across all study sites and across our treatment arms where we deliver all these fantastic interventions, but also in the control arms that did not receive these interventions. So clearly SBM has had an important role to play in terms of toilet usage. But we also see that there has been a benefit to using a systematic and a theory-based and a theory-driven approach. Because in each one of the studies, we see that there has been a small but significant change. So clearly, we've been able to begin to crack how we reach those who are most resistant to change. So I think that's important. Now, where do we go from here? The need now is to sustain toilet use by all and at all times. It's important that we underlie the underlying behavioral determinants and mindsets so that it goes beyond just toilet use now to toilet use all the time by everyone continuously over the years. Clearly, we need to maintain and improve existing latrine infrastructure to enable the use, and we need to address very simple but very important issues related to pit filling and pit emptying. Now, what we've realized in our studies, and a key message for us to communicate to you all, is that people are central. Now, we do need to keep in mind underserved populations, and these are not just those who may have been left behind, but these are also populations such as children, as Bethany pointed out, who we're also concerned about how their feces are entering the environment. So it's children and their feces. It's about certain groups that may not yet have been reached with important critical messages related to toilet construction and toilet use. It's also that amongst households, amongst communities that already have toilets, we do know there is a segment, albeit small, that are resistant to change, that may use the toilet once in a while when it's really raining heavily. But how are we reaching them? Because their behavior is also critical to sustain change and the benefits that have been brought about in the past 4 to 5 years. And then lastly is that we see that there are important groups such as those engaged in manual scavenging and sanitation work, and the nature of their work may be evolving given the types of latrine infrastructure that we see. So how are we addressing them, their needs, their dignity, their safety, as well as their job security? Okay. Now, how can we place these findings? I know that those of us who are working in sanitation in India are wondering that how do we fit this within the current paradigm that the Swachh Bharat Mission is moving into post-October 2019. And I'm happy to say that I think there are opportunities to do this. So these are actually snapshots from the government's own documents on looking at the ODF Plus agenda. And if we see this here, that the very first pillar is looking at ODF sustainability. And within that, there's a clear recognition that it's about having access and about using them regularly. So what Ruhi started us off with, that's finding place in the agenda moving forward. Secondly is about how do we do this? How are we operationalizing this? And again, we see that the guidelines provide us with that window of opportunity. And it's up to all of us here and beyond to figure out how we fit within this agenda that's giving us that opportunity. So here we see that there are guidelines for states to engage with this issue of the post-ODF agenda. Then you have state action plans that are showing commitment to how do you use IEC funds and how can we use them to bring focus to BCC strategies that Val has highlighted. Then you have focused IEC for ODF sustainability. And then we also have this critical component of building capacities, and how do we build capacities of those who will continue to work on the ODF sustainability and ODF plus agenda. And in all of these aspects, we can find space for the findings that have emerged in each of these individual studies, as well as the studies collectively. And I also think that as a group, we felt that there are opportunities to engage with other agendas. Now, here is what you see in the Poshan Abhiyan, which is the government's flagship program for improving nutrition in the country. And we've, the Odisha study and the Karnataka study have highlighted the importance of child feces disposal, management of child feces in a safe way. And the Poshan Abhiyan offers us a fantastic opportunity to integrate this very simply, very clearly and very powerfully into their agenda. So it's not just, I think that we also need to figure out that, yes, the sanitation agenda, but also what are the other agendas that we can link with, whether it's nutrition, whether it's education, and how can these findings and takeaways find place there. So with that, I will end, Radhika.
Thank you.